So forgive in advance any mistakes. There'll be some, I'm sure. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Stupid. Oh, that's okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Danandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Vrajajanaran Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Shrimati Jai Pataka Swami Iti Namane Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gora Kata Damadoy Nagara Gramatarne Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Nam Aste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesh Tarne Jai Shri Gonitai Jai Radha Govardhandari Jai Krishna Balaram, Jai Giriraj. Jai all of you. Welcome to my first Bhagavat-gita class. Haribol. Jai Jai. Let's see if it's more fun than paraphernalia. Do you want to chant? Do you want to chant this with me? Kula Shaye Pranasyanti, Kula Shaye Pranasyanti, Kula Dharma Sanatana, Kula Dharma Sanatana, Dharme Naste Kulam Shritnam, Dharme naste kulam shritnam, adharmo bibahantuta, adharmo bhibuvatya yuta. I'll do that again. Adharmo bhibavyat yuta uta. Kula Shate Pranasyanti, Kula Dharma Sanatanaha, Dharme Naste Kulam Krishnam, Adhamo Bhi Bhavatyuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family... Do I get special sound effects? With the destruction of the dynasty, and it's so ominous. Whoa. Is it free? Cool. No. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished. And thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Yeah, it's a pretty... Also, you have to remember this is Bhagavad Gita, so this is like the conch shells have been blown. We're on the battlefield. This is Arjuna. He's actually already lost his composure. He's full of what we would say with the symptoms described in the earlier verses. He's full of anxiety. He's shaking. His mouth is dry. His bow is slipping from his hand. He's like, this is just like one little microsecond of Arjuna on the battlefield with Krishna saying, with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished and the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Why am I fighting my family? So I think it's important with these two verses to see where it's coming from, this intensity on the battlefield. And Srila Prabhupada writes, in the system of Varnashram institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family. beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. Bhishma Dev is there, his grandfathers, all his uncles, all of the people older than that. But this is Srila Prabhupada talking about the culture of Varnashram and culture of Varnashram and religious traditions to not die with the older people. Like we need culture to survive in today. Every culture wants their culture to survive. And we want it to thrive. So don't slay the older members of your family, okay? There's a lot to talk about in that. Should I just read the second one? We're also going to cover verse 40. And then we can discuss everything in the purport. And it's interesting also with like when you read this and you hear about what's happening between the Israelis and Palestinians, it's kind of horrific. It's right in front of our face now. Very irreligious and from a religious principle where, it's horrific. Arjuna had it easy on the battlefield at the beginning of this age compared to what atrocities we see today. So text 40 I'll also cover today. Adharma bhava bharat. It's one big. Sorry about that. Dharma bhi bhavat Krishna. It's like irreligion having become predominant. Pradusyanti kula striya. Strisu dusta varshanyaya. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Pradusyanti kula striya. Jayate varnasankara. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, becomes unwanted progeny. And Prabhupada's purport, good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. And the Varnashram religious principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress and state of community. Such population depends on the chastity and the faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly, wink wink Madhavi, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good human population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. Nice and easy, pretty hopeful stuff. So it's a heavy purport, and that's why I felt it's like actually really important to see what's happening. Arjuna's terrified on the battlefield. It's come to this because actually the Kuru dynasty were so irreligious that they were blinded by their own irreligion, and this is the family that they're going against. This is their their counterpart in this war. They were blinded by their irreligion, and the greed got them there. They were so greedy. So it's something you have to back up, and you have to watch yourself, just like the contemplation of the senses that's spoken about in the Bhagavad Gita. From contemplation of the senses, attachment arises, and then lust, and then anger, and it goes like this. From anger, then delusion, bewilderment of memory, and madness. So I think the Kurus reached madness by sending the Pandavas out, and now they're on the battlefield trying to sort this out. But in this chapter, Krishna says it's done. Like Arjuna, the battle is done. Like they're already gone. Don't worry. Don't be in anxiety. This is already finished. This battle has been done, which is a very interesting point. And there's a lot that we can talk about here. And I made some notes because this is my first class. But I think it's really like Arjuna was so stressed, and his compassion is so overwhelming. Like I said, if he had those bodily symptoms, it's really hard to imagine being put. Like imagine now if someone was sent, can you go do book distribution in Gaza? Like no one's going to go to a battlefield, but this was Arjuna's battle. This was his family. Krishna's his cousin. And Prabhupada also says here that Arjuna is experiencing material suffering in his life. And Arjuna foresaw only evil. He's saying only evil is going to come from this in one of the previous verses. Only evil is going to come from this. And this is Arjuna saying this. Like Arjuna's our warrior. Arjuna's the fighter. Arjuna's saying only evil is going to come from this. And in the purport, Prabhupada's saying, if there is adultery and no one's supporting the family and no one's holding up any beautiful structure in the family, any chastity to husband and wife, any family ties where the elders are treated and the families are together, and all of those family traditions of birth, like Govardhan Samskars, where when the wife is pregnant, from marriage actually, and it keeps going in the cycle. So the child is born, and there's a samskara and a blessing for the woman in the 4th month of pregnancy to bless the soul. There's a process of purification, and then when the child is born, there's the first grains that the child receives. The first food that goes into the child's mouth is prasadam. And then writing before they go to school, there's a ritual, and all these beautiful traditions in Varnashram Dharma and in our culture that are cultural principles. They won't give you love of God directly, but they are cultural principles, and it makes me realize with the strength, with this quote of saying it is the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and the rest of society, the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Prabhupada's actually given us a system where we can maintain this culture to protect ourselves, to protect our family structure, to protect our community, to protect, and the word community is used not specifically in New Govardhan, but all over the world, to live and work in a way that's going to be protective of all, to protect the women, they protect the children, and then the children grow strong and healthy and confident, and and no older member shall be slain. And not to take that lightly, like that is, and Grandfather Bhishma was slain on the battlefield, and there is a time where we all will pass. But when we're in a point of irreligion, we are serving our senses, we're just serving ourself, and the previous verses talked about greed, and that's what you want to be careful of, that force of consciousness that becomes so greedy. In order to protect my family, I need more money, and I'm going to need to get a bigger house, and I'm going to need to pay the bills, and all the money's gone, and I've got to do more, and maybe they won't love me, and then I have to. Whether you're a man or a woman, you can fall towards greed. You can fall towards any state of consciousness as a man or a woman. no problem there. And consciousness is going to travel with us also. The consciousness will travel with us through through our state of growth and with our soul. Consciousness stays unless it's purified. But I find it really incredible that, because I'm an example of this, like I'm actually an unwanted progeny. Like my mom would tell me, oh, and she loved me. I was very loved. But she would drive down this road, and she was in Canada, and she'd say, oh, that's the hotel. Dad and I had a weekend away, and I was supposed to not get pregnant that weekend. And she tried to make it sound like she's really sweet, and rest in peace. I love my mom, very loving and kind and sweet. And she would say, oh, yeah, we were just going to have a little romantic weekend, but you came. Aren't you amazing? Weren't you strong? Didn't you break through the barrier of our what we had tried? And so like this whole and I remember that. I remember so much. I remember any conversation with my mom, because I'm the youngest of 9 children. So if I had time with my mom, it was really important. But she let me know I was unwanted progeny. And I tell you, from just that, I think it's really also important. And I think it's also something Srila Prabhupada tried to achieve and did achieve, is if you ever for a moment have felt unwanted in your life, like at the core of your family, that feeling like you're just not wanted, like go away. We didn't want you anyway. I never felt as bad as that, except my mom would remind me, yeah, we really actually didn't want you. It actually did put like a seed of doubt in me, like, oh, I wasn't really super wanted. Or it's one of the worst feelings. It's like yourself beating yourself up, thinking, or in a relationship, if you're not wanted, maybe my wife doesn't want me, or my best friend doesn't want me anymore, to actually go into that sorrow is going to lead you to quite a state of depression. And if that takes you onto the greed path, we're like here to say, don't go there. Don't go to the greed path. Don't, unless you want to be greedy for some mercy, or you want to be greedy to understand, or you want to be greedy for prashadam, or you want to be greedy to learn, or you want to be greedy to serve, then definitely transcend it like that. And also, I was able to, based on what Srila Prabhupada set up, but I forgot to say, I did feel like Srila Prabhupada did want everyone to feel like they belonged in ISKCON. He did not. Nobody was unwanted in ISKCON. Nobody was unwanted. Prabhupada wanted everyone to come. Even culturally, for Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas in India, you don't see many women in the temple. You'll see women in a widow's ashram. You'll see women at home, or you won't see them. It's generally brahmachari and men ashrams in India. And Srila Prabhupada was like, okay, I'm in Montreal. I'm in San Francisco. I'm in Los Angeles. Women are coming. You know what? They deserve this too. We want them. We can teach them this culture. We can teach them. And his foremost disciples are incredibly intelligent women. Incredibly intelligent. And that's the whole process. It's the bodily identification that's saying, oh, I'm not wanted. Oh, I'm unintelligent. Well, that's not actually the truth. It's not actually the truth. Like Krishna is the supreme complete force. Krishna is complete, and everything that comes from Krishna is complete and perfect. And we just have to work through our conditioning to understand that everything is perfect and complete and perfect. So Prabhupada I think it's amazing that we have in this day a culture that's supporting people and allowing everyone to be involved, everyone from any country to come and serve, and can you cook, and can you garden, even especially in the Krishna village, what can you garden? Are you an artist? And everyone can feel involved and put that towards a higher, something for them, something that's not for themselves, something that's for a greater point, community, service, for Krishna's pleasure. Then there's no irreligion. Then you're taking the same activity, but you're offering it to Krishna. And you're offering it to the community, to the Krishna village, to yourself. Then it's higher. You're automatically purifying the process. Is automatically transcending your actions based on that. So, yeah, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I find that is incredible, really, if you think about it, because most cultures are ancient cultures. Our indigenous culture from Australian land or Native American Indian culture, and they're really struggling to maintain their culture. And this culture is growing seeds through Russia, through India also. Like, yeah, my daughter's in India, just moved to India, talking about our culture to Indians. I love that. So this is thanks to Srila Prabhupada, and proof that this culture can live and thrive. And we'll find out in the next further verse what's going to happen when, well, we can find out even before that. So we don't want irreligion to be prominent in the family at all. And that's the battle. That's what we don't want. The Varnashram and the principles of religious traditions are going to help families grow. And Srila Prabhupada was talking about irreligious habits that one can lose. And you can lose your spiritual salvation. And I think that's where community comes. And that can happen at any time. And it has definitely happened to me over the decades. And I was not happy when I tried to, when I went through a period of, I wouldn't say I was, I'm lucky I have a really strong faith, and I don't know how to define the word religion. I don't personally have a problem with it, but if the word religion, if you speak to someone sort of on a street today, or you're giving out maybe Bhagavat-gitas and surfers, trying to say, oh no, religion's really causing too much harm. For me, I always feel like, oh no, we're not a religion. Like, I remember in the early days feeling this isn't a religion. This is a faith. Krishna is in everyone's hearts. There is a culture and I was never good at battling that word, religion, but I feel that what it means is basically just serving God. Going, I'm not going to serve my senses. I'm going to actually serve the highest power, and so that's what's actually going to bring your actions to a transcendental activity and purify anything. Certainly none of us want degradation of womanhood none of us want that. And I think it's important. I mean, I'm just coming from my own perspective here, but to feel unwanted or your unwanted progeny, it's also like, it's a big topic and a purport, but some people really want children and don't get children. And some people have children from like atrocious situations, from just like we're talking about, if they're sexually assaulted and they're pregnant. And some children have been raised beautifully in love from awful situations like that. There's horrific things that go on in this. And I don't really want to spend too much time on it because I can't get my head out of it. It's really so much suffering that goes on when religion breaks down, or there's a point of where the women are being degraded, or the women don't feel safe. And thank Krishna for ISKCON. I sort of joined because I wasn't feeling safe, and I lost my job in Toronto. The Prabhupada disciples just canceled my job, quit. I had been reading Bhagavad Gita for 9 months, and I was living near the temple, so I was fortunate that I was very interested in Krishna, coming from a Catholic upbringing, but that I had a place to go. It would have been harder to fight materially, and it's hard for anyone to fight materially, no matter what the situation. So I'm grateful that here in ISKCON or on the Krishna farm, you can have prasadam, you can have a bit of shelter, but you also have to have respect for the philosophy and serving Krishna and the religiosity that and it really only is through your sincerity, through sincerely feeling, I feel like I need some sincerity in the life, or what I'm seeing from war-torn countries and governments overpowering situations, that we need a culture to rise. We need to work together to rise as a humanity in a social structure. Then this is what is possible through Varnashram Dharma. through our cultures, through our status, through families and tradition and respect, and doing all the yagyas, which is another point, like the yagyas and that I was talking about. But yeah, does anyone have any questions on anything that does anyone want to talk about any point that I brought up so far?
I come from a war-torn country of Bosnia, and I have first-hand experience of what everything you're talking about now feels like, and yeah, discovering this farm and this religion or this culture. Yeah, it's been total opposite. It's been, and I fully understand what you're saying. How purity of the world can be preserved through this understanding of this religion, and I know what happens if there's none of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, the Bosnia Croatian War. That is. Yeah, I'm so sorry for all of that. I had read stories of that, just from the devotees that they were going through with no water. And imagine we take our peace for granted. Yeah, I don't know what to say because I haven't had that situation. Did you feel that culture was trying to be taken from your country and your people, that it just stopped making sense?
We were given this sort of Yugoslavian culture to keep all the different nationalities together. So that was almost like a cultural experiment in itself. And but yeah, since I came to Australia, which was 30 years ago, I've tried to find culture, and this is the first time I've found it, and that's why I feel comfortable here, because I haven't found it anywhere in Australia. In the West, I think people mistake culture like TV shows and just silly things, and they think, oh, it's Australian culture, like fish and chips or something, I don't know. And fish and chips is not going to stop us from killing each other. Something much deeper will. And yeah, I fully comprehend how the material world is set up to separate us, and here it's created to bring us together, to unite us in Krishna's shelter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have to come together in Krishna's shelter. And Prabhupada is not being judgmental on anyone coming. Srila Prabhupada saying whatever race, whatever, he would say no lazies or crazies. And sometimes I say the Krishna, and he was, I don't know how it came about, but it was quoted that Srila Prabhupada built a house in which the whole world can live. And sometimes I feel that way about the Krishna village. And I say, but only 80 at a time. But it is, because you actually have, because in the culture, and what I mean about that is that in Indian culture, where you're going to have the families together, so the grandparents are going to live in the home, the children are going to be together, the wife will go, everyone's pretty much together, so there's no loneliness. You're with each other, supporting each other fully. And at the Krishna village, it's similar, but it's not your blood family. Someone's doing the cooking, someone's doing the gardening, someone's doing the cleaning. So when your service is done, you're kind of finished at 1 o'clock, which in communities and cultural families where they are together, you have more time, because you don't have to go do the laundry now. You don't have to cook dinner. it's been done by, everyone's doing what they can. So what do people do? They sit by the fire, they talk, they share where they're at, they connect, they say, oh, I'm from Bosnia, I'm from here, and you have time to really listen. And I think that's what's missing in our society. Whereas work, I'm a slave to it. I started 9 to 5 a few years ago. It's like, you really don't have time, or I get home exhausted. And I miss those times in the Krishna village where you listen to someone. You really listen, because you don't have to worry about someone's put the dinner on. It's up at the temple. You're going to clean up afterwards, but you have time to connect and listen. And then no one's going to feel unwanted. So just in that sense of feeling unwanted, and then you go up, and then in more ways than one. And I think that's a profound, and I'm very grateful to our temple community and everyone coming to experience the Krishna village and try that, so you feel connected and that you can flourish, because it's not all on one person. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go on the... I don't know if I want to take that sentence on. So should I, now that I said that? Just looking at so at the end of verse 40, which we are covering today, on the failure of establishing the Varnashram Dharma, Prabhupada ahead of that is saying this very famous line: by being engaged in religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. And according to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. I'm generally not that intelligent because of probably a traumatic childhood or my pathways. But I did totally feel like when I met the devotees that I was experiencing advanced intelligent company, that I was learning about the soul, the spirit, the 3 modes of material nature, things that were going on that I couldn't see, the things that society as a whole had tried to block for most people. I'm North American, and you can even see by commercial advertising how they're trying to get you to use more, buy more, spend more, and work harder. And then it goes, right? Now we need 2 people to work, so there's less time with the family. Like, there's more destruction of the family through the society wanting us to create our own loneliness. And that's being alone, not having everyone together. And Srila Prabhupada really only, it is famous, and we've discussed this a lot. Women, he also said his female disciples were highly intelligent. So he's not saying the women are less intelligent. He's saying a devotee woman is intelligent, and it's just based on bodily identification. But I also find it interesting that he's saying women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. But that's Chanakya Pandit saying it. That if you're not very intelligent, you're not trustworthy. And I don't really know how to answer that. I'm not at that stage to discuss that. Yeah.
Outside, we just, with a few devotees outside, we had a talk about specifically that, and I kind of have my own view on that, which is obviously individual, but I'm transgender, so I started off as a woman, lived for 28 years as a woman, and now having lived for more than, 13 years as a man with male hormones, and it gives me a bit of a different perspective on these things.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about it outside, and when I now read that, I feel like, at least from my own experience and from some other transgender stories as well, who've gone through similar things from both sides, actually, I kind of feel that these type of sayings are really focused on the differences, the bodily differences. So basically, like you're saying, the bodily identification, because I can speak from my own experience that when I was a woman and I would have my period, I was definitely less intelligent to my own annoyance, because I would just need to work anyway, because the society is built like that. It doesn't matter. You have to go to your work and you just take a pill and hope to get through the day. But my brain was not nearly as present and switched on as I needed it to be, and as it would be on other days of the month. And now, having a male body with all of that taken away from me and just living on testosterone, it's basically always steady. Doesn't mean I use it properly, but it is much more reliable. And yeah, in one sense, being able to use my brain, I would almost say, looking at the verse, it's more trustworthy because I know it's switched on every day. And but then I feel like that's just looking at the physical brain intelligence, I guess you could say. And then when you look at emotional intelligence, I think women have much more advantage there, because of the same setup. Basically, we have such different hormone systems, and it just affects us. Like, for instance, before I would cry at least every month, and it would be a nice relief. Actually, it was actually very helpful. And now I hardly ever cry, and I wish I could, but my body just doesn't allow it so easily anymore. And that's actually been an adjustment. Like, okay, how do I deal with my emotions now? Because it doesn't just automatically come out physically. So I need to find another way of processing it by writing or journaling and things like that. And yeah, that it's just, yeah, there's very, very clearly a difference. And I think we, outside just in our conversation, we just come to the conclusion, I find personally, that most of the times difference doesn't mean not equal. And I think that's where often these discussions go in the wrong way, because people hear different with anything in the world, any topic, and it's like, oh, so it's less? No, different doesn't mean less or more or better. It's just different.
Yeah,
That will be
I'm so glad you spoke up. And when I was reading this, I was thinking about a transgender person, because Srila Prabhupada was actually saying it is about being, it is a bodily identification. So if you're just saying, I am this body, I'm a woman, I'm young, or I'm old, or I'm identifying with myself as this body, then that's the lower. That's one of the first things you learn, is that we are not this body. But I was interested when I was preparing for this. I wonder how this would go with someone who's transgender. And my friend I talked to my friend in New Zealand, and she sent me a lot of these quotes. But also Prabhupada said exactly what you said, that the emotion, women are so soft-hearted that, and Arjuna's soft-hearted in this place, in this conversation of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is also so soft-hearted that then when your heart is so soft and full of compassion, you're not thinking a yes or no. You're not thinking, right, this is what we've got to do on an intelligent. You're coming from your emotional intelligence. And that's exactly the point, that women's hearts are softer, so they're coming from an emotional intelligence. And Arjuna was overcome with compassion in this spot. And he's our warrior. He's our guy. And he's about to lose his bow, and the battle hasn't begun. And because he can see his family members that he's about to lose, and his compassion is like, yeah, he's thinking materially at that point in time, Prabhupada says. Yeah. I was going to crutch on those quotes that my friend from New Zealand sent me, but you spoke about it so well. Just that it is. And Prabhupada's also saying his female disciples are so intelligent. Yeah, that it is. Yeah, there's... No. Yeah. 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 Yeah, thank you so much. And you also. Yeah.
Interesting topic.
Yeah, it's packed. These are really packed, two purports and verses. So then Prabhupada continues, so the different family traditions of religious activity should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in Varnashram system. And then he just goes into basically adultery and talking about the failure of it and people mixing freely. And then there's adultery. If it's indulged in the risk of unwanted population, irresponsible men provoke adultery in society, and the unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. It's heavy, and now I think even in today that we're looking at war, and we're looking at wars on so many things. We're looking on wars of specific cultures. We're looking at wars in, there's too many actually, I don't even want to say it, where people are fighting each other over what they think is right or wrong. Sometimes I think, wow, didn't we bury that in the 50s? Yeah. So this, to understand basically that we are part of the greater whole, that Krishna is sitting within every person's, every living being's heart, knowing past, present, and future, and that within that we are all connected, that we are all the same. Like most of us are really just trying to get by. We're just trying to get by no matter what income level anyone is at. Everyone is going through something at this day and age in society. It's tough. And so we're all just trying no matter what, no matter what. And I do love that Prabhupada has set up a society that we can communicate and speak to each other. So hopefully there isn't, I just feel like I just see the sentence on war and pestilence now, and I just feel like we've been watching war for the last few years that just is kind of insurmountable. And my hope, I brought a hopeful quote. I love hope. I love hope. And when I was thinking about all of it, I was thinking this is from the Bhagavat-gita, chapter 18, 73, where Krishna is basically just saying, just abandon all varieties of religion. Like, let all varieties of religion go. Surrender unto me, and I'll just deliver you. Like, do not fear. So he's also saying, just abandon all your varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I'm situated within your heart. And this is known as the most confidential knowledge. It's confidential. So if I tell Julan something and I say, please don't tell anyone, it's confidential. This is what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. This is the most confidential knowledge. And what it is just let go of all varieties of religion and surrender to me, to me. And I think that's why I had a hard time talking about the word religion if I was distributing books, because I just thought, oh, we're just abandoning it, or we're surrendering. Krishna is actually in everyone's heart, and under different religions, he has a different name and he's seen differently, but he is the one universal source, and that we're not going to fear. And if you're really situated in your faith, if anyone's situated in their faith, they will feel fearless, they will feel connected, and they will feel whole, and they will feel protected. And then also I thought this was appropriate, in the Sri Upanishad, the invocation, where the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he's completely perfect, all that emanates from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. And whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. And because he is complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. And we are that spark. You hear people say, oh, God is within you. Yeah, he's sitting in our heart, and we're complete knowing that. And no matter what a day can bring, if you understand that you're already complete, then that you're already complete, and you're already complete, and everything is complete, and you're already complete, then this is a beautiful foundation to feel peaceful and whole, hopefully in your family traditions. Yeah. Does anyone want to ask or say anything? Oh yeah, we would give her the mic.
Thank you.
Rashmiti.
It's such a beautiful class. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about a lot, is that, Kali Yuga comes in the form of attacking the family system. Because if you want to untangle a society, break the family system down. So what Prabhupada and Krishna is talking about there, like with the elders no longer, Arjuna, the elders no longer being around to be able to share that, you divide the family from their elders, and from their wisdom, you think you know better for whatever reason, you cut that wisdom tie off. But then as well, like the separation of the village, the separation of that family unit means that, you're doing it by yourself, and, you're expected to do every role, and it's just extremely confining. It's like now I have to pay for my village, I expand, and I have to find ways to create that because to do it by yourself, it's going to break the women down, it's going to break the men down, it's too much pressure on them all. And these guys are the ones that pay the price from it.
Yeah.
It's, I've been thinking about it a lot. If you want to break down society, break down the family system. So I'm glad you read on this verse.
Yeah, shall no family be broken down again? I have my beautiful family here, and we had a breakdown, but we also had the Varnashraman system. We also had the mercy of blessings in what Prabhupada's talking about here with those social rituals. So then, when it was tough, we had the society to lean on, or my daughters had their guru and the community. And then we have brought ourselves back together again as opposed to my Catholic upbringing, where it was less of a, Anyway, I think that's amazing what you said. That's like an essay in itself. Everything that you said is like an amazing conversation after, and your sharing also, it's amazing, and I'm so glad that you all shared, and what you're saying is it's profound, and a lot of people are talking about it now, how governments we don't want the family to be broken down because we love our family. We need to grow stronger. So may you never be slain. I'm really grateful for Srila Prabhupada. Madhavi's going to give class now. Can she? Can she actually? Yeah, and also it's really hard to in observing, this is just the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. And as Arjuna's observing the army, and that's the chapter title, he's freaking out. Arjuna's freaking out, and he's our warrior. I wonder if he knew that to this day and age we'd be talking about him. He'd be our famous warrior. He's not impressed with all of that breaking down. And it'll go on in tomorrow. And is this Tuesday class? Is this just every Tuesday, once a week? So stay tuned. Stay tuned for next week. I hope. Did you feel satisfied? Do you stay in the Krishna village? Oh, you live under? Oh, do you? Oh, okay, yeah, when they had their baby and their parents were visiting. Yeah, I was visiting. Oh, okay. Oh, nice to meet you. You work at Govinda's? Oh, amazing. Yeah, small world, Jai. Even that, okay. I'll say hey and Haribo next time. But even that, the community growing and having, that's another thread of it where I've seen you and not realized it's you at Nima and Muktaram's place, and that you're working at Govinda's, and that I hang out with Madhavi quite a lot, and that you have, that it's establishing a weave of community is stronger than we actually see through the traditions of slowing down and spending time connecting and serving each other. Yeah. Yeah. May the wars end. May greed take a step back. May we somehow see there's bliss by serving the divine and being of service to it. Would anyone else like to say or add anything? Pardon me? Oh yeah, this class, Bhagavat-gita class, is every Tuesday. Oh, and Monday. Yeah.
That the artificial intelligence is their best friend. Organizations, companies are working towards establishing that intimacy. So I believe as a community we need to take active steps to protect ourselves from that happening.
Yeah, that is correct. From anyone feeling unwanted and that they have to only connect through their iPhone, or that they can only connect artificially, and then through artificial intelligence going up, and through more forms of a heightened Maya's getting better. Maya, the illusion's getting stronger. And that's where we have to protect ourselves from those unwanted feelings and realize that we are wanted. Krishna is saying, I want you. Krishna is saying, surrender to me, I want you. Krishna's not giving anyone in the Bhagavad Gita who reads it the awareness that you're unwanted. Krishna is saying, I want you. Surrender all your varieties of religion and come to me. That is a huge, that's a huge social problem on our doorstep. And I feel like even if I have moments where I feel alone or lonely and I'm just down my rabbit hole of my phone, I think, wow, I am so unfulfilled. I do not feel
You're not
happy.
alone. I'm sitting here with my Neanderthal brain looking at a black screen with a supercomputer, with the mind of God on the other side, and I'm trying to compete as a Neanderthal. You won't win.
We have to make a fire Neanderthal and connect and share, do our cultural principles of revealing our mind in confidence, feeling trust and feeling connected, that we can share how we're feeling, what we're going through in confidence, and then listen to someone in confidence.
In confidence, so you need sovereignty
with
regards to AI, even a sovereign AI for Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
There should be a layer through which all answers are filtered. And that layer has the ethics and values of the Gita and Krishna consciousness. So when everybody in the community uses it, we're not getting the zeitgeist, the ethics, values and beliefs of some tech oligarchs. But this is the issue that's facing us in the next 1,000 days. We've got 1,000 days.
1,000 days.
And then it's over.
We're going to set the timer.
Yeah. Well, we're about, into the 1,000 days, we're about 60 days into the 1,000-day counter now.
I think I missed something there.
We got about 1,000 days until it gets to a point where we won't be able to implement that layer.
For artificial intelligence in the next 3 years. Well, I hope in that time that the golden age and all of the devotion and service that is pumping out through this world takes over. Because simultaneous to this, the golden age is here, which is Mahaprabhu is predicted and Lord Nityananda, where there's also a force of uprisal. More people are coming that say, I can't handle this. I'm feeling lonely. I've never earned more money or felt more alone. And they're coming and they're picking up. I think Nehru gave Putin a Bhagavad Gita the other day. Let's see what happens in 1,000 days with Putin getting a Bhagavad Gita.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. And it is degrading. Yeah, there is the war.
You will get an
risk and
increase of
pestilence.
people as AI will highlight the difference between cognitive intelligence or compute and consciousness. So even people who've denied it for years. it's going to be clear as day. You know, your mind is just a machine. It's trained at school, university to be a machine. The machine will be a much better machine than you. Therefore,
Yeah.
it'll differentiate.
Yeah, and just like on the battlefield with Krishna, Krishna is saying some things are already done. So maybe some things are already done for this planet. But we are also perfectly complete with Krishna's mercy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. It is Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Bhagavat-gita Class finished. Thank you.
Hare